Your life is a kingdom. Your joy, your peace, your purpose, these are the treasures stored in your castle. And for most of your life, there has been no one guarding the gate. You have left the door wide open, and so the thieves have come in the night. The thief of other people's opinions, the thief of your own self-doubt, the thief of fear. They have been plundering your treasures, stealing your energy, and leaving you feeling empty and powerless in your own home. And all the while, the one who was meant to be the guardian, the fierce, loyal, unwavering sentinel of your soul, has been asleep at his post. This is not an invitation. This is an alarm, a blaring red alert. The intruders are inside the walls, and the hidden voice you are about to awaken is not a gentle guide. It is the voice of the captain of the guard. It is the voice that will shout, "Enough!" We are not here to meditate on peace. We are here to remember how to go to war for it. There is a sword that was forged for you at the beginning of time. It is your sword. It is made of your own life force, tempered with your deepest truth, and designed to cut through any illusion. For most of your life, this sword has lain dormant, gathering dust in the armory of your soul. You have forgotten it is there, and so you have been walking through the battlefield of your life unarmed. You have felt this as a pervasive fear, an inability to act, a pattern of retreating when you should advance, of being silent when you should speak, of tolerating what should not be tolerated. The hidden voice in your head, the voice of the sleeping soldier, has called this prudence or keeping the peace. But it is a lie. It is the voice of fear, and it has kept you a spectator in the arena of your own destiny. Today, we enter the forge. We will find that sword. We will temper it in the fire of your own conscious will. And we will activate the part of you that knows how to wield it, the warrior. If you are tired of being a bystander in your own life, if you are ready to stop retreating and to finally stand your ground, then take a deep warrior's breath. Your training begins now. Subscribe and join this forge, because the courage you are looking for is not something you find. It is something you remember, and it is time to remember your sword. Part 1. Let us begin by honoring the feeling that brought you here, the deep aching frustration of your own paralysis. Let us walk, with clear and compassionate eyes, across the battlefield of your inaction. Feel it now, that familiar cold weight in the pit of your stomach, when a moment of necessary conflict arises. It could be a conversation you know you need to have with a loved one, a boundary you need to set with a colleague, a stand you need to take for your own values. And in that moment, something inside you freezes. The words die in your throat. Your body feels heavy, rooted to the spot. The opportunity to act, to speak, to defend your own kingdom passes you by like a ship in the night. And you are left on the shore, alone with the bitter taste of your own silence. This is the fog of the passive shadow. It is a life lived in the deferred tense. I will have that conversation tomorrow. I will start that project next week. I will stand up for myself next time. But tomorrow never comes. The hidden voice, the voice of the saboteur, is a master of procrastination. It whispers, "It's not the right time. The conditions aren't perfect. It's better to wait." But waiting is just a euphemism for hiding. You are hiding from the imagined pain of the conflict, and in doing so, you are choosing the real chronic pain of your own powerlessness. Look at the landscape of your life. Do you see the territories you have surrendered without a fight? The dream you gave up on because it seemed too hard. The passion you let wither because you were afraid of what others would think. The disrespect you have tolerated in a relationship, slowly eroding the foundations of your own self-worth. These are not just missed opportunities. These are the occupied lands of your own kingdom. You have allowed foreign armies, the armies of doubt, of fear, of other people's expectations, to set up camp within your own borders, and you have not raised a single banner in defense. This inaction is not laziness. Let us be clear about that. It is often born from a deep and profound sensitivity, a desire to not cause harm, to not rock the boat. You were perhaps taught as a child that to be good was to be compliant, to be agreeable, to put the needs of others before your own. Your niceness became your prison. Your desire for peace has led you into a silent internal war against your own soul. Feel the exhaustion of this inner war. It takes a tremendous amount of energy to hold yourself back, to suppress your own truth, to live in a state of constant low-grade fear. The paralysis you feel is not a lack of energy. It is the feeling of your life force being used to hold the floodgates of your own power closed. You are like a mighty river that has been dammed. The pressure is building, and the fatigue you feel is the strain on the structure of that dam. The journey to activate the warrior is not about becoming an aggressive, angry, or violent person. That is the great misunderstanding, the great fear that the hidden voice uses to keep you passive. The journey is about learning to consciously and cleanly dismantle the dam. It is about allowing your own life force to flow with purpose, with clarity, and with a focused, disciplined power. It is about reclaiming the occupied territories of your own life, and the first step is to acknowledge the truth of your own abdication, to look upon the battlefield of your inaction, not with shame, but with a holy and righteous anger that says, "This occupation ends today." Part 2. Who is this warrior that we are seeking to awaken? We must be precise, for the world has given us a distorted and toxic image of this archetype. The world shows us the brute, the conqueror, the mindless soldier, the angry tyrant. These are not the warrior. These are the shadows of the warrior. The true spiritual warrior, the archetype in its fullness, is not a creature of aggression. They are a creature of clarity. They are not defined by what they hate. They are defined by what they love and what they are willing to protect. The warrior is the guardian of the sacred. Let us build a clear image of this archetype, for this is the blueprint we are activating within you. The warrior's primary virtue is courage, but courage is not the absence of fear. That is the foolishness of the brute. Courage is the willingness to act in spite of fear. It is the commitment to a value that is greater than your own personal comfort or safety. The warrior feels the fear, acknowledges its presence, and then takes the necessary step anyway, because their love for their kingdom, for their truth, for their honor, is stronger than their fear of the consequences. The warrior's primary tool is discernment. This is their sword. It is not a clumsy weapon of brute force. It is a razor-sharp blade of clarity. It is the ability to cut through the fog of confusion, of emotion, of other people's opinions, and to see the simple, underlying truth of a situation. It is the sword that cuts away what is non-essential. It is the sword that says a clean yes and a clean no. The warrior is not indecisive. Their sword is always sharp, and they are not afraid to use it to bring clarity to chaos. The warrior's primary armor is discipline. This is their shield. It is not a rigid, joyless set of rules. It is a conscious and loving structure that they build for their own life. It is the commitment to show up every day for the things that matter, the discipline to meditate when they don't feel like it, the discipline to train their body when it feels weak, the discipline to speak their truth when it feels scary. This shield of discipline is what makes them resilient. It is what protects their energy from the chaos of the world. It is not a prison. It is a fortress from which they can safely operate. The warrior's primary allegiance is to sovereignty. The true warrior serves a king or a queen. This is a crucial point. A warrior without a sovereign to serve is just a mercenary, a thug, fighting for their own selfish gain. The king or queen is the archetype of your own higher self, your own divine purpose, the Zeus within. The warrior is the part of you that takes the vision of the king and makes it manifest on earth. The warrior is the loyal, disciplined and courageous servant of your own highest purpose. They do not act from their own egoic desires. They act in service to the vision of the whole kingdom. And finally, the true warrior is grounded in peace. This is the great paradox. The warrior does not love the fight. They love the peace that the fight is sometimes necessary to create or to protect. They are a peaceful warrior. They have such a mastery of their own inner energy, such a powerful and grounded presence, that they often win their battles without ever having to draw their sword. Their clarity is a weapon. Their integrity is a shield. Their presence alone is a boundary that few will dare to cross. They only fight when it is absolutely necessary to defend the sacred. And when they do so with a clean, focused, and impersonal power. Clarity, courage, discipline, and service to the sovereign. This is the blueprint. This is the noble and beautiful archetype that lies sleeping within you. It is not an angry brute. It is the guardian at the gate of your own soul, and it is time to wake the sentinel. Part 3. Before we can safely awaken the true warrior, we must first illuminate its shadows, for any archetype of great power also casts a great shadow. And if you do not make these shadows conscious, you risk being possessed by them. The warrior archetype, as the psychologists Robert Moore and Douglas Gillette have so brilliantly mapped, has a bipolar shadow. At one pole is the sadist, at the other the masochist. Let us, with courage, look into these dark mirrors. The first shadow, the sadist. This is the active, aggressive shadow of the warrior. The sadist is possessed by the warrior's energy, but has no connection to the heart, no allegiance to a benevolent king. He loves the fight for its own sake. He loves the feeling of power over others. He uses the sword not to bring clarity, but to wound, to dominate, to control. In the world, you see the sadist in the bully, the tyrant, the abusive boss, the cruel dictator. It is the energy of destruction without purpose. In your own inner world, the sadist manifests as your own inner critic, that vicious, relentless voice that attacks you, that calls you names, that belittles your efforts. That is your own warrior energy, turned inward in a toxic, sadistic way. It is the part of you that uses the sword to cut yourself down, instead of cutting through your illusions. You may also see it in your projections, the irrational, explosive rage you feel towards others, the desire to destroy them in an argument. That is the shadow sadist, looking for a battle. The second shadow, the masochist. This is the passive, inverted shadow of the warrior. And this is the shadow that has been running your kingdom. The masochist is the one who has abdicated all their warrior energy. They have buried their sword. They have given away their shield. They believe they have no power, and they find a strange, perverse comfort in their own powerlessness. The masochist is the eternal victim. They cannot set boundaries. They are the doormat upon which the world wipes its feet. They unconsciously invite abuse and disrespect, because on some level it confirms their core belief of being worthless. They complain about their situation, but they never take the action required to change it. Their powerlessness has become their identity. The masochist is the master of self-sabotage. They will procrastinate on their own success. They will stay in the abusive relationship. They will fail to stand up for themselves, and then they will wallow in the self-pity that follows. This self-pity is a toxic, addictive energy. It gives the ego a sense of being special in its suffering. This passive shadow is far more insidious and far more common in our culture than the active sadist. We are taught to fear the sadist, but we are often encouraged to be masochists. We are taught that to be a good person, especially if you are a woman, is to be self-sacrificing, to never say no, to put everyone else's needs first. We have been culturally programmed to identify with the passive shadow of the warrior. The craziness you have been feeling, the paralysis, the inaction, is the feeling of being possessed by this masochist shadow. You have been living in its grey, powerless, and deeply frustrating kingdom. The journey to activate the true warrior is a journey that must navigate between these two precipices. If you simply react against your own passivity with blind rage, you will swing from the masochist to the sadist. You will become the very thing you once hated. The true path is the path of the conscious center. It is the path of reclaiming your power without becoming a tyrant. It is the path of learning to use your sword with precision and love. And it begins by seeing these two shadows within yourself clearly, without judgment. To see the part of you that is a bully, perhaps only to yourself, and to see the part of you that is a doormat. To see them is to take the first step in disidentifying from them. You are not the sadist. You are not the masochist. You are the one who is aware of them. And in that awareness, you can begin to choose a third way, the way of the true, honorable, and integrated warrior. Part 4. This path of the inner warrior, of disciplined action and emotional resilience, is not a new idea. It is the very heart of some of the world's most powerful and pragmatic spiritual philosophies. It is a path for those who seek not comfort, but freedom. Let us look to the great Stoic philosophers of ancient Rome, men like the Emperor Marcus Aurelius, the slave Epictetus, and the statesman Seneca. These were not armchair philosophers. They were men living in the heart of a brutal, chaotic, and often violent world, and their philosophy was a form of warrior training for the soul. The central teaching of Stoicism is the distinction between what is in our control and what is not in our control. They taught that the outer world, events, other people, our health, our reputation, is ultimately not in our control. To place our happiness in these things is to be a slave to fortune. The only thing that is truly in our control is our own mind, our judgments, our responses, our will. The Stoic sage was a warrior whose battlefield was their own mind. Their goal was to build an inner citadel, a fortress of mental and emotional resilience that could not be breached by the chaos of the outer world. Marcus Aurelius, in his private meditations, wrote to himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is the very essence of the warrior's shield. It is the discipline of not taking things personally. It is the understanding that nothing external can truly harm you, only your own reaction to it can. The Stoic warrior practices a form of emotional alchemy. When faced with an insult, a loss, a betrayal, they do not react with the chaotic passion of the untrained mind. They pause. They use their sword of discernment to cut through the appearance and to see the event for what it is, a neutral fact. And then they choose their response, a response aligned with virtue and reason. This same warrior spirit is found in the Bushido code of the Japanese samurai. Bushido, or the way of the warrior, was a strict ethical and spiritual code that governed the life of the samurai. It was deeply influenced by Zen Buddhism. The ideal samurai was not a mindless killer. He was a master of his own consciousness. The central practice for the samurai was to cultivate a state of mind called mushin, or no mind. This is not a state of being thoughtless. It is a state where the mind is fluid, present, and not fixed on any one thing. It is a state of being so completely in the present moment that there is no space for the hesitation and fear that comes from the chattering ego. The samurai trained for years in meditation and martial arts to be able to act spontaneously, perfectly, and without fear from this state of deep inner stillness. Their sword was not just a weapon, it was a symbol of their soul. A clean cut, a decisive action was a reflection of a clear and decisive mind. To be a master of the sword was to first be a master of the self. Both the Stoic and the samurai traditions teach the same core lesson. The true warrior's strength is not in their muscles. It is in the quality of their consciousness. It is in their discipline. It is in their ability to remain centered and clear in the midst of chaos. It is in their mastery over the one and only territory they can ever truly control, their own inner world. This is the lineage you are joining when you choose to activate your inner warrior. It is a lineage of spiritual and psychological sovereignty. It is the ancient and honorable path of those who choose to be masters of themselves rather than slaves to the world. Part 5. The time for theory is over. The time for practice has come. We must now enter the forge. We must take the raw, unrefined metal of our own consciousness, and we must begin to forge the primary tool of the warrior, the sword of clarity. This sword is your discernment. It is your ability to say a clean yes and a clean no. It is your power to cut through illusion, and it is forged in the fire of your will and tempered in the cool water of your stillness. This is not a metaphor. It is an energetic practice. This is the first true act of the awakening warrior. It is the moment you stop accepting the fog of confusion and start demanding clarity. It is a commitment to becoming a truth-teller, first and foremost to yourself. If you are ready to pick up the hammer, to feel the heat of the forge, to begin crafting the weapon of your own liberation, then I invite you to declare your intent. Click the like button. Let it be the first resonant clang of the hammer on the steel, a signal to the universe that a new sword is being made. Now let us begin the forging. I will guide you through a meditation, an act of sacred imagination, to create and consecrate your sword. Find your quiet space, close your eyes, and journey with me in your mind's eye to the forge of your own soul. It is a deep, cavernous space, dark and warm. In the center there is a fire, burning with a brilliant, white-hot intensity. This is the fire of your own divine will, your desire for truth. Now you see the raw material. It is a lump of dark, heavy, unformed metal. This is your unawakened mind, full of undifferentiated beliefs, fears, and illusions. With your intention, you place this lump of metal into the heart of the fire. Watch as it begins to glow, first red, then orange, then a brilliant white. The impurities are being burned away. Now you take the glowing metal to the anvil. The anvil is the unshakable ground of your own deep presence. You pick up a heavy, powerful hammer. The hammer is your focused attention, and you begin to strike. With the first blow you declare, I cut away all that is not my truth. Clang! See the sparks fly. The metal begins to take shape. With the second blow you declare, I cut away the need for approval. Clang! The shape becomes more defined. With the third blow you declare, I cut away the fear of conflict. Clang! A blade begins to form. Continue this. With each powerful, rhythmic strike, you are forging your clarity. I cut away confusion. Clang! I cut away self-doubt. Clang! I cut away the stories of my past. Clang! You are hammering the formless into a long, straight, beautiful blade, a blade of pure, unwavering light. Now you take the hot blade and you plunge it into a trough of cool, clear, silent water. Hiss! The water is the stillness of your own deep awareness. The blade is being tempered. It is being made strong, resilient, unbreakable. Finally, you lift the sword. It is finished. It is light in your hand, perfectly balanced. It hums with a quiet power. This is your sword of clarity. It is not a weapon of aggression. It is an instrument of truth. Its purpose is to cut through illusion. In your daily life, when you are faced with a confusing situation, you can call upon this sword. You can hold it in your mind's eye and ask, what is the simple truth here? And the sword will show you what needs to be cut away, the fear, the story, the projection, leaving only the clear, simple reality of the moment. Its purpose is to say no. When you need to set a boundary, when you need to refuse a request that violates your own truth, you can feel this sword in your hand, and it will give you the strength to make a clean, clear, and unapologetic cut. Your no will no longer be a hesitant whisper, but a clear, resonant and final statement. This sword is now yours. It is a part of you. You have not created something new. You have simply remembered and reforged an ancient part of your own soul. Practice holding it. Practice feeling its weight, its clarity. It is your most trusted companion on the path. Part 6. The warrior has a sword. But a sword alone is not enough. A warrior who goes into battle without a shield will be quickly wounded and overcome. The second great tool of the warrior is the shield of resilience. If the sword is your ability to act and to bring clarity to the world, the shield is your ability to not react and to remain clear within yourself. It is the art of energetic boundaries. It is the sacred technology of not taking things personally. For most of your life, you have been walking through the world without a shield. You have been a psychic sponge, an energetic open wound, the anger of a stranger in traffic, the anxiety of a colleague, the manipulative guilt-tripping of a family member. You have absorbed it all, and you have mistaken their energy for your own. You feel anxious, angry, or guilty, and you believe you are the source of those feelings when you have simply been contaminated by the psychic pollution of the world. To raise the shield is to declare your energetic sovereignty. It is to create a conscious, semi-permeable boundary around your own field, a boundary that allows love and truth to pass through, but repels the arrows of negativity, of judgment, and of projection. Let us craft and raise this shield now. This is not an act of building a wall. A wall isolates you, a shield protects you while you remain engaged with the world. Close your eyes. Return to your inner sanctuary. You are holding your newly forged sword of clarity in one hand. Now with your other hand, you will call forth your shield. Imagine a source of brilliant, protective, diamond-like light above your head. This is the light of your own sovereign I am presence. Now with your will, command this light to descend and to form a shimmering, translucent shield all around you. See it. It can be a sphere, an egg, a cocoon of light. It should extend about an arm's length in every direction, above, below, and all around you. This is your sacred space, your energetic boundary. Now we will program this shield with its prime directives. Speak these commands into your shield, feeling their power. First, declare, this shield is a filter. Only that which is of the highest good, only that which is of love and of truth, may enter my field. All else is repelled, all else is returned to its source with love. See the shield shimmering with this intelligence. It can distinguish between frequencies. It is a wise guardian. Second, declare, I do not take things personally. Program this Stoic wisdom into your shield. Imagine the words, the judgments, the negative emotions of others as arrows being shot at you. But they do not reach you. They simply hit the surface of your shimmering shield, and they clink and fall harmlessly to the ground. You can see them. You can acknowledge them. Ah, that person has just shot an arrow of judgment. But it does not wound you. It does not enter your system. You realize their arrows are not about you. They are about them. They are a reflection of their own inner war. Third, declare, my energy is my own. Program your shield with the power to prevent leakage. See it as a perfect container, holding your own precious life force within it. You can consciously choose to extend your energy out to help another, like opening a small gate in your shield. But you are in control. Nothing and no one can siphon your energy from you without your consent. Now sit for a moment within this field of light. Feel the sense of safety, of peace, of centeredness. You are not hiding from the world. You are simply no longer a victim of its energetic chaos. You are a sovereign being, operating from within your own sacred, protected space. This is a practice to be done every single morning. Before you check your phone, before you engage with the world, take 60 seconds, raise your shield, program it, and then walk into your day, not as an exposed nerve, but as a peaceful warrior, centered, protected, and clear. When you are in a difficult situation, you can consciously feel your shield around you. It will remind you of your power. It will remind you not to react. It will remind you that you are safe in the fortress of your own conscious presence. Part 7. A warrior with a sword and a shield is a formidable force. But what makes them get up in the morning? What fuels their discipline? What makes them willing to face the battle day after day? A warrior without a cause is just a well-armed thug. The energy that fuels the true warrior, the fire that tempers their steel, is a clear and unwavering purpose. This is where the archetype of the warrior and the archetype of the king, Zeus, must join forces. The king is the one who sits on the mountaintop and has the vision. He sees the blueprint for the flourishing kingdom. The warrior is the one who stands on the battlefield and executes that vision, who makes it real. The king provides the why. The warrior provides the how. A warrior without a king is lost. They have immense energy for action, but no direction. They may fight many battles, but they win no wars. They mistake busyness for effectiveness. Their life is full of action, but it lacks a unifying meaning. You have likely lived this way. You have been productive. You have checked off the to-do lists. You have fought the fires of your daily life, but at the end of the day, you feel a deep, hollow sense of, so what? Your warrior energy has been directionless, a mercenary in service to the random demands of the world. To activate your warrior in its fullness, you must place it in service to your king. You must give your inner soldier a mission that is worthy of its strength and its sacrifice. What is this mission? It is your own unique soul-level purpose. It is the vision you hold for your own highest expression, for the kingdom of your own life. Let us clarify this purpose now. This is the act of giving your warrior its marching orders. Close your eyes and ascend for a moment to the Olympus of your own consciousness, to the throne of your inner king or queen. From this high, wise perspective, look down upon the landscape of your life and ask the sovereign question, what is the one great, beautiful thing that I am here to build, to create, or to defend in this lifetime? Don't think in terms of a job title. Think in terms of an energy, a quality, a value. Is your mission to be a builder of beauty? Are you here to create art, to cultivate gardens, to design spaces that uplift the human spirit? Is your mission to be a defender of truth? Are you here to be a teacher, a writer, a speaker, who uses the sword of clarity to cut through the lies of the world? Is your mission to be a channel of healing? Are you here to use your own journey through pain to guide others through theirs, as a therapist, a coach, a compassionate friend? Is your mission to be a guardian of justice? Are you here to fight for the voiceless, to protect the vulnerable, to work to create a more equitable and loving world? Is your mission to be an anchor of peace? Are you here to master your own inner world so completely that your very presence becomes a stabilizing, calming force for your family, your community, your workplace? Find your word, your purpose, your why. It does not have to be grandiose. It just has to be true. Let the word resonate in your heart. This purpose is the fire for your forge. This is the fuel for your warrior. Now, every morning when you wake up, you do not just face a long list of tasks. You face your mission. That difficult phone call is no longer a chore. It is an opportunity to defend the borders of your kingdom, your time, your energy. That boring project is no longer a drag. It is the act of gathering the resources to build your cathedral. That moment of fear before speaking your truth is no longer a reason to retreat. It is the moment the warrior steps forward, sword in hand, ready to serve the king. When your action is connected to your purpose, it is no longer a struggle. It is an act of devotion. Your discipline is no longer a grind. It is an expression of your love for the kingdom. And your courage is no longer an effort. It is the natural consequence of a soldier who knows exactly what they are fighting for. Part 8. As you begin to walk this path, as your sword becomes sharp and your shield becomes strong and your purpose becomes clear, you will begin to notice a strange and beautiful paradox. The more prepared for battle you are, the less you have to fight. This is the path of the peaceful warrior, the masochist shadow, the unawakened self, because it is weak and has no boundaries, is constantly inviting conflict and disrespect into its life. It is like an unlocked house in a dangerous neighborhood. It is an easy target. It is always in a state of drama, of being a victim, of being attacked. The sadist shadow, the immature warrior, is constantly seeking out conflict. It is a bully, looking for a fight to prove its own strength. Its life is also one of constant battle, but of its own making. But the integrated sovereign warrior, the one who is centered in their power, whose sword is sharp and whose shield is strong, radiates an energy of quiet, unshakable authority. This energy, this presence, is a powerful deterrent. Most of the petty tyrants, the energy vampires, the drama kings and queens of the world will feel this energy on an unconscious level, and they will simply stay away. They will sense that you are not a good target. You are not an easy food source. Your very presence is a boundary. You will find that you no longer need to win arguments. Your quiet, centered presence is more powerful than any clever rebuttal. You can stand in the face of another's anger, holding your shield of non-reactivity, and their anger, finding nothing to hook into, will simply burn itself out, like a fire with no fuel. You will find that you no longer need to constantly defend your boundaries. People will just, for some reason, stop pushing them. Your no is no longer a desperate plea. It is a calm, quiet, and immovable mountain. This is the great secret of the warrior's path. The goal is not to become a better fighter. The goal is to become so powerful, so whole, and so at peace within yourself that the fight is no longer necessary. You win the war by making yourself an impossible battlefield. Your peace becomes your power. Your stillness becomes your sword. Your silence becomes your shield. This does not mean you will never have to act. When a true threat to your kingdom arises, when a sacred value must be defended, the peaceful warrior will act, and they will act with a swift, clean, and devastatingly effective power. But they will do so without hatred, without rage, without personal animosity. They will act as an impersonal force of nature, like a lightning strike that restores the balance of the atmosphere. And then they will return to their peace. This is the goal. Not a life of constant struggle, but a life of profound, powerful peace, a peace that is earned through the rigorous discipline of becoming the unshakable guardian of your own inner and outer world. Part 9, From Soldier to Sentinel, the Guardian of the Garden. As we approach the end of this journey of activation, our understanding of the warrior must undergo one final, profound transformation. We have seen the warrior as the hero, the fighter, the disciplined soldier. But this is still a vision of action, of doing. The highest expression of the warrior archetype is not as a soldier of fortune, but as a sentinel, a guardian. Imagine, at the very center of your being, there is a beautiful, secret, and sacred garden. This is the garden of your soul. It is the realm of your inner feminine, your anima. It is where your creativity, your vulnerability, your intuition, your capacity for love and connection all reside. It is a place of immense beauty, but it is also incredibly tender and vulnerable. For most of your life, this garden has been unprotected. You have had no sentinel at the gate, and so the world has trampled through it. The criticism of others has crushed the delicate flowers of your creativity. The betrayals of the past have salted the earth where your trust used to grow. The harsh, cynical voice of your own inner critic has been like a constant bitter wind, stunting the growth of your self-love. Your garden is a wasteland, overgrown with the weeds of fear and resentment. The ultimate purpose of the warrior is not to go out and conquer the world. The ultimate purpose of the warrior is to stand guard at the gate of this sacred inner garden. The warrior becomes the protector of the vulnerable, the guardian of the beautiful, the sentinel of the soul. His sword of clarity is no longer used to fight outer enemies. It is used to cut down the weeds of negative self-talk before they can take root in the garden. It is used to discern what is allowed to enter the garden and what is not. This thought of self-doubt, it is not welcome here. Cut. This draining relationship, it is not allowed to trample on this sacred ground. Cut. His shield of resilience is no longer just for personal protection. It is to create a safe, protected container around the garden so that the tender shoots of new life, a new idea, a new feeling of love, a new vulnerability, can grow without being crushed by the harshness of the outer world. His discipline is no longer just for self-mastery. It is the discipline of the master gardener who shows up every day to tend to the soil, to provide the water of self-love, to ensure the garden gets the sunlight of joy and inspiration. This is the final beautiful integration. The warrior, the integrated masculine, does not exist for his own sake. He exists in sacred service to the soul, the integrated feminine. His power is in service to love. His strength is in service to beauty. His discipline is in service to life. When the sentinel is at his post, the garden begins to flourish. Your creativity begins to bloom in ways you never thought possible. Your capacity for deep, intimate connection returns. Your intuition becomes clear and strong. You become fruitful, generative, alive. The greatest act of love a man can perform for his own soul, or a woman can perform for her own, is to activate this inner warrior and to post him as a loyal and eternal guardian at the gate of their own tender heart. Part 10. And so we arrive at the final, quiet and profoundly peaceful truth. The truth that is waiting on the other side of all the battles, all the training, all the forging. We began this journey feeling like a soldier on a battlefield. Unarmed and afraid, we have forged the sword, we have raised the shield, we have found our purpose, we have become the peaceful warrior, the sentinel at the gate, we have become powerful. But the final epiphany is the one that allows the warrior to finally and completely lay down his arms. The epiphany is this: the war was an illusion. The enemies you were fighting were never outside of you. They were shadows, projections of your own disowned power and your own unhealed fear. The energy vampire who seemed to be attacking you was a reflection of your own abdicated power. The critic who seemed to be judging you was a reflection of your own inner critic. The chaos of the world that seemed to be overwhelming you was a reflection of your own inner lack of order and discipline. You were not fighting a war against the world. You were fighting a civil war within your own psyche, a war between the sleeping warrior and the shadows of his own abdication. And the moment you pick up your sword, the moment you raise your shield, the moment you claim your own inner authority, the war is over. Not because you have defeated the enemy, but because you have integrated the enemy. You have withdrawn the projections. You have taken your power back, and the outer shadows, finding nothing to fight against, simply dissolve. The warrior's ultimate victory is the realization that there is no one left to fight. In this final recognition, the warrior does not disappear. He transforms. He is no longer the soldier. He is the peace. He is no longer the guardian. He is the sanctuary. His sword and his shield are no longer tools of war. They are absorbed back into his being, and they become his very presence. His clarity is so absolute, and his boundaries are so inherent, that they are no longer separate from him. He comes to rest, the eternal sentinel, standing guard not against a threat, but as a silent, powerful embodiment of the peace he has won, the peace that comes from absolute self-possession. The peace that comes from knowing that there is nothing outside of you that can ever truly harm you, because there is nothing outside of you. This is the end of the journey of the warrior. It is the arrival at a state of profound and powerful stillness. You have not just activated an archetype. You have come home to the unshakable, sovereign, and peacefully powerful core of your own true self. The battle is over. The war is won. And your real, fearless, and purposeful life can now, at last, begin. The sounds of the forge and the hammer are completely gone. They are replaced by the sound of a single, clear, resonant bell, which hangs in a profound and peaceful silence. Visually, we see the image of a beautiful, ancient and ornate sword, not held in a hand for battle, but resting peacefully on a stone altar in the center of a flourishing secret garden. The scene is one of profound, powerful peace. The sword is at rest. The guardian is at peace. The kingdom is safe. You are not the one who fights the battle. You are the peace that the battle was fought to protect. If this journey has helped you to remember the warrior within, subscribe and continue to walk this path of sovereign peace with us. Your training is complete. Your service now begins. And your service is to simply be the peace you have won.